Hello, Masters. Today we are going to finish up our little series on toxicity before we move on to all the positive stuff and how we heal. All right? So if you haven't watched the last couple of videos, please go back and do that so that you understand alkalinity, acidity, toxins stored in the cells, how these things accumulate, why accumulation decreases the intelligence of the cell, and how all this plays together. All right? So now we understand, yes, it is through acidity, being acidified through our environment, our internal and external environment, and the cells that we were handed and what they were bathed in, that determines the intelligence of how our cells and tissues operate. Okay? And again, because everything is consciousness, everything contains consciousness, the cells and the tissues of your body are the vehicles, the vessels for your consciousness. The higher state of vibration your cells and tissues can be at, the higher your consciousness is going to be. And this is why so many people who do all this spiritual stuff and work so hard to raise their consciousness, but can't live it in their life, or seem to always forget, or there's always seems to be some sort of block of like, why can't I make this a reality? Why do I know all this stuff, but I can't live it? What is holding me back from being this person that I know myself to be through all my spiritual work? It's your cells and your tissues. Literally, they cannot hold the vibration, because you expressing as a high consciousness being requires that your entire being can hold that vibration and manifest it in the physical reality. Yes? So all of that potential that's created in the void, in that negative space when you're in your meditation and you're in your contemplation and you're learning, you're in the mental realm. That's the void. You're in that mental realm. It cannot be projected into the reality unless there's a vibrational frequency to carry it, to hold it, to match it at that same vibrational frequency. So your cells and your tissues are what is holding that vibration. So we can artificially raise the vibration of our tissues and cells for periods of time through going to a Kundalini yoga retreat or meditating for an hour a day or whatever it is that we're doing in our spiritual practices. We can raise ourselves to this consciousness for a moment, for an hour, for a weekend, for a week. We can align with who we are for a little while. But if all of the being isn't in alignment with that, isn't able to hold that vibration, doesn't have enough integrity, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, physically, to hold that vibration, you're going to crash. You're going to lose it. Because the cell, the vessel for that energy can't hold that vibration, can't hold that rate of speed. It's too fast. Okay? So this is why we don't want to look at the physical body as something separate from the spiritual journey. Because the physical body is the vessel that's holding the spiritual journey. Without the physical body, there is no manifestation of your physical journey, of your spiritual journey. Without the physical body, there is no manifestation of your spiritual journey. Without the physical body, there is no manifestation of you. And if there's no manifestation of you, it's just mental, it's just potentiality, it's just void, it's just thought. It isn't reality. Okay? So you're bringing yourself into reality. And then again, you're doing so in an environment that is essentially all taken apart. And we've talked about this in the self-love videos, right? This toxicity of the body and this rebellion from nature and the way that we live today as human beings that is so acidic, that is so out of alignment with truth, so outside of what nature has been that dismantling of the rules, dismantling of the structure. We have taken it all apart. We've seen the contrast, whatever you want to call it, and we are suffering because of it. We have these emotions, this emotional guidance system that's leading us back to a unified perspective within the individual perspective. And we're going to do it through embracing and accepting all aspects of the being as being right. So this is why, okay, self-love is the key to tissue regeneration. It's the key to healing. It's the key to everything. Not because you can just sit there and love yourself and then your cells are magically going to regenerate. No. Because as we love the self, as we love our emotions, what is the definition of love? Information. Yes? Okay. We understand the law of unity. You are one with the universe. You are one with everything. So as you accept and love yourself, you are accepting and loving the information of the structure of the universe itself. As you reject yourself, you are rejecting understanding, fear, yes, lack of understanding, less intelligent, degrading, lowering its vibrational frequency, not evolving, dying. You are taking yourself down from the universal understandings and therefore degrading yourself. Okay? So when we talk about coming into healing, deep tissue cleansing, awakening our consciousness, so much of it is going to be an internal experience. I am going to give you information, okay? I'm going to give you love through these videos. But it's going to be you tuning into your love of yourself. That's really going to be the thing that allows you to take these words, this information, and apply it to real life. Okay? Because if you are hating yourself, there is absolutely no way you're going to heal. Because you are cutting yourself off from the information that would allow you to live in a way that supports your vitality. Because remember, anything that's vital is simply increasing the amount of life force energy that's flowing through it, through an increase in integrity and a decrease of blockage. And if we are not allowing ourselves to become one with the life force energy through loving ourselves, becoming more intelligent, more self-aware, you're going to discover this, that as you love yourself, as you love your emotions, as you love your physical symptoms, as in allow them to teach you, you are going to find that the answers and the solutions to how to live in a way that brings you back into alignment, or into alignment for the first time, for most of us, with true health, high vibration, right? It's all there. It's all within you. That is where the information is. You are the void where all that information comes from. It's all surrounding every single one of your atoms. Okay? It's within you. This is not esoteric. This is not a metaphor. It's physical reality. All right? So as you integrate the messages that your physical body, your emotional body, your mental body are telling you, okay, you are increasing your intelligence. And to hate the self is to cut yourself off from the information that is inherent within you. Okay? So again, I really want to make this clear. The human body is designed to be continually regenerating, getting higher and higher and higher in its consciousness. It was designed for that. It was designed to be the perfect vehicle for consciousness to have an ever-expanding experience. That's why it can regenerate. Everything can regenerate. Get lighter, get faster, get tighter, get more intelligent, evolve. It's not static. The body was designed for this. Okay? Most of us just haven't had an experience of it, so it sounds like a myth, right? But as we start to do this deep tissue cleansing work, you're going to see, you're going to feel, as your cells and tissues start to regenerate, oh my freaking God, I know this shit, okay? As we sit in the question of how do I heal? What do I do? I don't know, right? Everything that I've tried hasn't worked. Good, stop. Sit in the silence. Sit in the void. Sit inside. Become intelligent. Investigate your emotions. Investigate your thoughts. What feels good in the body and what doesn't. This is what's going to unfold your path to you, because it's all inside. It's in the intelligence of your cells and tissues. It's literally programmed right in there. Your mind may have been programmed to believe a whole bunch of other things, because that's what the creative mind is meant to do, right? We need to be able to tell stories, to think of things that have not existed yet in order to be a creator. So this ability to tell stories is fundamental to the human state, the human experience. But we're using it right now to harm ourselves. Okay, so this self-hate, this rejection of any part of yourself is what's keeping you unintelligent and not being able to heal. That's what we need to understand, first and foremost. You are cutting yourself off from the innate information that came with your cells and tissues that know how to regenerate. It came with your consciousness that knows how to evolve. And you cut yourself off from it. You break yourself. And so anytime you hate yourself, you make healing impossible, because you are saying, I will not listen to that. That is wrong. That is not a part of reality. This shouldn't be happening. No. Everything that's happening in your body has a cause. Now, again, because we live in this world that is so incredibly toxic, there are no examples of people who are living in alignment with truth, like with real truth. We're all fragmented. We're all still taking it apart. We're all still suffering. We're all still suffering in our emotions, in our mental state, in our physical state, because that's just what happens when we're in degradation, when we're in rejection. We think there's no solution. I don't see anyone else who's healthy. I don't know what to do. I've never seen it. There's no examples. I've never felt it. I've never had an experience of that. And we use this as an excuse. Okay, but no. The real reason you don't know what to do about your healing is because you're rejecting yourself, the information inherent within your cells, tissues, and consciousness that knows how to regenerate. Okay? So like I say, I am going to give you information in these videos about how to start to get on this rejuvenation and regeneration path. But you need to understand that your work is to go into all of those places that you hate about yourself, that you hate about your emotions, that you hate about your body. Every single message that is being sent to you, and you need to start to say, okay, my pain is not my fault. My pain is not my fault. It is a part of the human experience because we have been taking everything apart. We've been taking everything apart for good reason, so that we could see it all unfolding. But now that you are aware of your suffering, and you are aware that there's something you can do about it, your consciousness level is high enough to actually heal, to integrate, to put all these pieces together. Physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, on every level, you're aware. You can't pretend you don't know anymore. And what this is going to require of you is that you get very serious and honest about where you are hating any part of yourself, anything that you are not accepting about you. You are saying this should not be happening. And that is a fallacy. It absolutely should be happening. There is a cause. There is absolutely a cause for every effect. And when I say it's not your fault, I mean it. So much of what you're experiencing in your physical, mental, emotional body is not your fault. You were programmed that way. From 0 to 7, in the culture we live in, that's completely out of alignment with truth, right? That's all fragmented. Your pain is not your fault. The reason you're so confused about how to heal is because you've never seen anybody healed. You've never seen anybody who's doing this in a way that is in alignment with truth. And of course you haven't, because we live in a completely discombobulated, taken apart world right now. And this is why being a spiritual being has always been so painful, because we are awake and aware to things that the rest of the world isn't. Okay? People who are suffering but not truly aware of their suffering the way that you are, don't suffer the way that you do. They can go to their 9 to 5 and drink on the weekends and do all these things and have a completely different experience of it than you can, because they are less aware. Yes? They're still in the taking it apart phase. Their consciousness is still totally happy to be evolving through the degradation. Okay? Your consciousness isn't anymore. So, again, you can't look to the outside to find your answers, because they're not there. I mean, they're there in nature, in what's left of it. But you don't need to look out there. You can look inside. And you're going to look where first? Your pain. Your physical pain, your emotional pain, your spiritual pain. Because the pain is telling you where the misalignment is. And as we accept that, as we say, no, okay, I'm feeling anxiety because I should. I'm feeling anger because I should. I'm feeling sadness because I should. My body is falling apart because it should. This is all based on a cause. None of this is random. None of this is random. Maybe I don't see what it is because I've never known anything other than this, right? This is where most of us get all caught up, is that we were born into sick bodies. We were born into a world where everyone acts this way, where health is being on the paleo diet or keto or some crazy ass shit that makes us more toxic, but we'll talk about that later, right? We've never seen health. So it starts to feel like, and on the deeper levels, the emotional levels, the spiritual levels, we've never seen people living in alignment with their truth. Who I am in the context of the reality, where we're not all fear-based of each other, but understanding that every single person's unique individual expression is what we need to evolve humanity. That if we just allowed every individual to be themselves, everything would get done. We don't need this fear, right? Lack of information, putting people in boxes, all of these things. We need full expression. That to love the self is to love everyone and everything. To express yourself as your truest self is to serve humanity in the highest way, whether people see that or not, because they don't, right? Our minds are caught up in stories that are untrue. And it's all based on this rejection of reality. That reality is wrong and we have to fight against it. That's all it is. It all came from that. And so if you really want to heal and take all this information that I'm going to give you and not use it to harm yourself, you're going to have to move from self-love. That every single one of your symptoms is happening for a reason. Your body is not broken. Your mind is not broken. Your emotions are not broken. They are telling you something that you need to know. Something you may have never seen before. Something you may not know anything about. Yes? Information you're completely unaware of, but you feel it. That's what this is going to be. You're going to let your body lead you and guide you. I have healed myself of almost everything that I was born with that got worse with age, literally through listening to my own inner guidance. And I am not special in this. I just stopped assuming that my body was doing something wrong. If I had fat in places I didn't want it, I said, my body is doing that for a good reason. It's doing it for a good reason. I love it. I love that my body did that because I want to understand it. I love it. I want the intelligence. Any disease that was in any part of my body, any tissue, what do you need? You are not wrong. Your environment is off. How do I shift the environment? All the self-hate I realized, right? As I hated myself, as I hated any aspect of myself, any emotion, any thought, any physical thing, I was cutting myself off from the innate information that lied in that actual part of my being that knew how to come into alignment with truth. So now, right, 15 years later on my journey, my 14-year-old self would not recognize me at all. Physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, how I live, she would have no freaking idea what's going on because it's that different. And I had no examples. I had no one to teach me this stuff. This all came from inside. My cells, my tissues, the information that's around all of us. So this is why I harp on about self-love so much, because it's the key. You have all the answers within you, in your cells, in your tissues, in your consciousness. It is through hating and rejecting and saying this shouldn't be happening, there is no cause, this is an effect that has no purpose, that's what's cutting you off. Okay? So toxicity is happening. We are all toxic, and we're going to move into the practicalities of how to start to remove those toxins in the next video and in the coming videos. But this needs to come through this filter of understanding your body isn't doing anything wrong, your emotions aren't doing anything wrong, your mental state isn't doing anything wrong. We need to investigate all of it, love all of it, get the information from all of it, because that's where the information of how you're going to heal is going to come from. It's not really going to come from me. Okay? So take that in, start to understand everything about you is perfect. You're toxic, we're all accumulating toxic, and that's part of this path. We take it on because it's part of our journey, it's part of our expansion. All right? So I'll see you in the next video.